All right, let me get it. Here we go.
All right, welcome to another WP Friday. I am the host sitting with the worst case of FOMO in a chair in cold Philadelphia, while Brad Williams of Web Dev Studios is enjoying sunny Arizona with all of my friends.
The weather here is perfect, just so you know.
Yeah, I assume. Thank you for
there.
letting us know.
What's up, Victor? Yeah, we're live here at WordCamp Phoenix 2023. Back at it, back on the circuit. First live show we've ever done on the boots on the ground, right? So we're gonna try something a little different here. So roll with us. So we're gonna bring on some guests throughout the show that are at the event, talk about the event, talk about what they're looking forward to, what they've done. Maybe they're presenting, maybe they're an organizer, volunteer, sponsor, but we're going to just kind of be on the streets here and interview with people and having some fun. So drop your questions in. Victor will kind of help us with that and feed those in. But this will be fun. You ready to get started, Victor?
Let's do it. I'm going to watch the chat. And anyone, if you're listening, just tweet at us, talk to us in the YouTube chat. I will make sure whoever's on the ground will get those questions. And we have some really exciting guests. There's some great speakers at WordCamp Phoenix, of course, as usual. So let's get started.
Speaking of an exciting guest and speaker, our first guest, Cami. Hey, Cami.
Hi.
Welcome to WordPress Friday Hangout. So, WordCamp Phoenix, I know you presented already.
Did.
So, why don't you tell us a little bit about, what you presented on, what you talked about, and then we'll dig into some other things.
Great. Well, my name is Cami McNamara. I'm a web designer in Seattle, Washington, and today was my first time talking at WordCamp. And I've been coming to WordCamp since 2013.
First presentation. All right.
Yeah, and my first presentation, and I talked about time management tips. I'm a solopreneur. I've been in business for 21 years, and I manage about 200 websites a month for clients, and I have about 350 active clients. So I fine-tuned a few time management tips that have helped me still be able to live a life and run a business.
Hey, that work-life balance is important.
Yes.
Yeah, that's awesome. So first time presenting. So nervous, not nervous, coming out of your comfort zone?
I was way nervous.
I
had a lot of friends here in Phoenix, which is why I applied here. And I knew that I would have a lot of support if I was picked. So that was great.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. I love hearing about first time speakers. And I understand it's, even if you've done it a lot, you still kind of get those butterflies walking up on stage. And I know that first time is challenging because it is really kind of getting out of your comfort zone for most people. But props for you for getting up there, sharing some awesome knowledge, being at this event and just getting out of your comfort zone, it sounds like, and putting it out there.
Well, I did a lot of research about good tips to have when you're feeling nervous. And so I tried to channel it that I was here to help people. And everybody feels nervous. Even the most seasoned speaker feels nervous. So
100%.
I just went with it.
And, WordPress is such a welcoming community too, right?
Yes.
That is one of the reasons why we're so excited WordCamps are back. Just being able to talk with, other WordPress nerds, in person and kind of geek out. And the community is so welcoming.
Yeah, it makes me happy way back when that I didn't pick Blogger, right?
You're not going to, Blogger camp?
Yeah, I don't think that exists. But yeah, I've been doing this for a long time. So that would have been the wrong path. WordPress was definitely the better path to take.
Not movable type?
Yeah.
So what things are you looking forward to? Now that you got the hard part behind it, you've done your presentation. Now you got to kind of sit back and enjoy the other talks.
Right. Well, there's a lot of friends that I have that are speaking, and I can't wait to go see them talk. Sabrina is talking about performance of your website there, and Maddie Osman. I'm always happy to see her. But I'm really here for the community and just talking to everyone. I love going to the sponsor booths and it's great networking.
It is. And it's, I've been coming to WordCamps for a long time. And it's, for me, it's a bit of a reunion after the last couple of years of just being very remote and very disconnected from friends all over the country and all over the world. Now we're just kind of getting on the start of kind of really getting back into it. So to see friends and kind of catch up on what's been going on,
it's true. Well, I went to WordCamp US.
I was in San Diego last year.
And it was a smaller WordCamp, which was nice. So it feels similar. I mean,
More
it's just a
intimate,
little
yeah,
bit,
resetting a little bit. Yeah.
but it's good for conversations and just catching up with people.
Yeah. Victor, any questions you want to throw out here? We can ask Cami.
I don't have any questions right now on Twitter. So yeah, I don't, if you want to keep rolling, this is good. I'm liking it.
Cool. No
Yeah.
questions coming in yet, but from the news desk.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so we have, let's see, today's Friday, it's the first day. So we have all day tomorrow. So we're only really about halfway into the first day, essentially. We just wrapped up lunch.
Oh yeah, just got started.
So we're
Yeah.
just on the cusp of really getting into this. So a lot of cool presentations out there, a lot of great sponsors. And you're right, it feels like it is a little more intimate than maybe some of the ones in the past where they were much bigger, but that isn't a bad thing. Because we're kind of relearning how to do this, honestly, like just even talking.
Hugging. There's more hugging here than there was.
It's still a little like, do I handshake? Do I fist bump? Do I hug? Do I, wave awkwardly?
Yeah. Lean in for the maybe, and if it's
So we're all awkward and figuring it out together. So at the end of the day, we just want to be safe and have a good time. It's a beautiful thing about Phoenix, a lot of open air spots. I mean, right next to us is an outdoor area right in the middle of the venue. Let's see if we can get a shot here. And that's where people are eating and hanging out, right there in the middle. So it's kind of neat to
mid-60s.
I mean, it's mid-60s. It's awful here, Victor. I'm telling you, you wouldn't want to be here.
It sounds horrible.
It's terrible, but yeah, awesome, Cami. Well, appreciate you coming on. Great job with the presentation, and enjoy the rest of the time. You too.
I know we have in the past, but
I think we have, but it's nice to see you again.
Talk to you like this before, and I appreciate it. Thank you, Victor, for reaching out at like 3 a.m.
Time change, time zones, right? So yeah, thanks for coming on, Cami. So we'll bring someone else on here in a minute.
I got to tell you, Brad, this is pretty cool. It's exciting to see you at the space, hearing the people in the room. I'm getting FOMO because it is, people that are listening. Hey, people that are listening right now, like WordCamp Phoenix is a great venue, great food, great stuff. And so, so everyone, we have Rachel. I'll let Brad do the intro, just sharing for everyone, killing some time. So Brad, jump in, go.
All right, we got the Illy Philly here, right? We got to get some people from Philly on.
Philly.
So we got Rachel. So Rachel, first, why don't you introduce yourself? Tell people who you are and kind of what you do in the WordPress space.
My name's Rachel Winchester. Most people call me Win. I'm an organizer for the Philly WordPress meetup group. We still meet virtually, so anyone can join and come say hi. And I'm also an independent product designer. So if you need an Elementor website or some mock-ups, you know where to go.
Awesome. All the way out from Philly. So I don't know if there's other people from Philly here. I wonder. At least two of us. So I like seeing the East Coast represent when we come out west. So what? WordCamp Phoenix. Have you been to a WordCamp Phoenix before? Or is this your first time?
This is my first WordCamp.
First one. Wow. I'm surprised.
Yes.
So what are you looking forward to? I mean, we're about halfway through day one. Anything that stood out or anything that's coming up that you're really kind of geeking out about and excited to hear about?
I was happy with lunch. Those burrito bowls.
Lunch was pretty good.
It was pretty good. Yeah.
Burrito bowls.
I mean, not too spicy, but there is a kick to it, which I was excited.
One thing you got to be careful about is the food around here, because the spicy here, when it says spicy, that means very different things from like spicy back in Philly.
Yes. Yeah.
But good food. Yeah.
Definitely looking forward to that. And the after party. I guess I should watch some talks as well. So
well, maybe you're like me. I hang out a lot in the hallways. The hallway track is kind of where it's at for me. So I'll sit on a couple presentations that I find interesting or support friends, but I really get a lot of just this. Like chatting, hanging out, getting to know people, network.
Yes.
It sounds like you're similar too, right? Just hang out and talk.
Business cards, been handing them out a lot.
It's just a great way to network. I mean, like, it's a very open community. You'll probably hear that a lot throughout this podcast. And it's just everybody wants to kind of learn from each other and help each other. So, just making those connections really go a long way in your business and, whatever you might be doing within this community.
I think I've run into just as many like WordCamp veterans as I have as WordCamp first timers.
Yeah.
There's a lot of first timers here.
Yeah. And you want a healthy mix, I feel like. You want some veterans that have maybe been around the block, old people like me. But it's great to have like fresh faces and new people that haven't been, and then because the community is what sells WordPress, in my opinion. And once they experience one event of this community, like they're in WordPress, they're in it. You know what I mean? Like it sells WordPress to them just on the community aspect of it. So, so it's always really cool to see people kind of coming and checking it out. And they're not really sure what to expect, and then really quickly they're like, "Wow, this is fun."
Yeah, I'm also looking forward to the after party, just because we know who organized it, and she is probably very good at organizing parties.
Raquel, head of parties here. And anybody that knows Raquel knows that she is a good party planner and likes to kind of take that extra. I think we talked about it last week, Victor.
Yep.
WordCamp Phoenix is known for being extra. You know what I mean? Like they always have these things that are just a little bit like the little details that make things, you know, kind of rise above the top. And so it's one of those reasons WordCamp Phoenix has really kind of been
Definitely
that top tier
taking a lot
WordCamp.
of learning a lot of lessons to add to our WordCamp back in Philly.
Are we getting a WordCamp
Whenever
Philly?
the next WordCamp Philly is, you know, we got a strong community there.
Yeah.
Definitely a lot of people who could be organizers, and we could learn a lot from this cool event.
Yeah,
Tell
it's
when
fun.
they had laser tag last 2 years, or I guess, wow, 3 years ago at WordCamp Phoenix. What does she know what the party is this time? Or I guess what would they make better than laser tag if they do
So
WordCamp
yeah, I
Philly?
guess the last WordCamp Phoenix they had a laser tag event. Apparently, there was some laser tag at the
It
after
was
party.
just at the after party.
So I'm really
Okay.
curious if what they might have in store. I don't know. Do you know anything about the after party specifically?
No,
Just walk in and find out.
maybe
WordCamp
it's-
US, I ended up in like a flight simulator, like a legit flight simulator. That was like a 360. It was insane at the Air and Space Museum. And so I'm literally flying a plane in this thing, and you're like upside down, you're doing barrel rolls, and the whole thing is, you know,
Ooh.
just wild. And I was like, I've never done that before. And it's just, I wouldn't expect that at a WordCamp after party, but you never know what you're going to
I
get.
mean, it is basketball themed,
Ooh.
and the Footprint Center is right across the street. Maybe we're going to be shooting some hoops or something.
Do you know who
And actually-
plays the Phoenix Suns tomorrow
Yeah,
night?
the Sixers.
The 76ers.
Yo,
Philly
really?
is playing tomorrow night. The only problem is the game time is the exact same time as the after party.
Yeah,
Unless that was by a
No.
coincidence and we were going to the game. I doubt
yeah. I
it.
don't know what the after party is in that.
Isn't the game?
Yeah, we've got like some really nice booth or something.
We might have to have a follow-up next week to let
Joel
everybody know.
makes an appearance during halftime.
Yeah. So what advice, you've been here, this is your first WordCamp so far. Any advice you'd give out to newbies, to people that are their first event, or are you still kind of figuring that out?
For newbies, I mean, I come here for networking. I think everyone here is pretty open and conversational.
Yeah.
I would just say go up to people and say, hi, what do you do with WordPress? That's always the best first sentence to say. Whether it's a sponsor, organizer, volunteer, speaker, just say, hi, what do you do with WordPress? And it will lead somewhere.
It's a good icebreaker at a conference like this.
Exactly, yeah.
What do you do with WordPress?
Yes.
Hopefully they have an answer.
Yes.
No, that's great. I mean, you're again, a welcoming community. Anyone here is open to discussing. So sometimes you just have to kind of, you know, say hi,
Yes.
shake a
Yes.
hand, you know, join a circle,
Yes.
start
Follow each
talking.
other on Twitter or
Yeah.
whatever social media people are using nowadays.
Well, that's kind of the fun part too, is like connecting the Twitter profile that we're used to seeing with the actual person. And it's always a little different, right? Like I get it. And so when you see someone in person, then you're like, oh, I know that person
Yeah.
on Twitter. They just, you know,
Yeah, that reminds me. I don't actually know when we met in person, if ever. But I feel like we've known each other for a while. I don't know if you get the same. I don't know when we
I don't
first met
either.
in person.
I know we've met before. I feel that way with a lot of people. I'm like, I know we've met. I couldn't tell
Yeah.
you where. Or
Yeah.
when,
That's what
but I know
happened.
we've met.
That's been happening to me all day, just running into people that I've seen all over and over
Yeah.
again, and just say like, hey, like we've already met.
Yeah. And the great thing is we're all kind of like, we're all on the same page. It's nobody's gonna be like, you don't remember me, or it's not this awkwardness. It's like, yeah, we all kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
And with the last few years, it's kind of a reset anyways, right? So
Yeah.
awesome. Well, yeah, thanks, Rachel. Appreciate you being on.
Yeah, thanks for
Have
having
some
me.
fun at the after party. We'll
See you
keep everyone
around.
posted on what we're doing there.
Bye, Rachel.
See you, Victor. Have fun back in Philly. I hope it's really cold there
Yes,
because it's warm here, and I
Beautiful
feel
here.
like I'm on vacation.
we're just gonna keep saying that, everybody. It's the weather's beautiful.
All right.
But all right, thanks, Rachel.
Bye. I got to tell you, Brad,
Terrible, isn't it, Victor?
you're doing a great job actually, because for Twitter, I got to say, Twitter is super quiet for the hashtag WCPHX. People are not even tweeting. So this is actually kind of neat. I'm liking
I
this
think
because
everybody
it's like,
left Twitter.
no, you know what happened too? Lunch. The last tweet was lunch. You could see that the traffic died. Everyone has itis.
Well, everybody's eating.
Yeah, everyone's eating. They're not tweeting about. I'm surprised no one's tweeting photos of burritos.
Well, we just had lunch, so But yeah, let's go. So our next guest has brought his own equipment. I like it.
Like to
He's
repurpose
prepared.
things.
So real quick, so Victor can't hear you, but I can. So I'll feed any questions he might have. But introduce yourself to people who you are and what do you do within WordPress?
So Victor, good to see you, bud. And hello, everyone else. My name is Ed Perry. I'm from Houston, Texas. I'm the president of the Beacon Agency. We're a full-service marketing, advertising, and technology consulting firm specializing in small businesses, especially local businesses and e-commerce stores. I've been working in the WordPress space for 10 years now. I started my company actually 10 years ago as of last week. And
So congrats. That's a
yeah,
huge milestone.
and so it was pretty exciting. So it's kind of nice to see my baby all grown up. But yeah, so that's basically it. It's
Wait, tell him he has to
full-time
talk about the
nomad. I
van.
travel
He
all
has
over
to talk about the
country.
van. There we
My
go.
girlfriend's a travel nurse, and so we travel together.
So there's apparently a van.
Yeah,
Victor,
so,
tell me, you talk about the van.
Yeah, so I had an RV, a travel trailer that I was living in. And now that I'm dating a nurse, she actually gets corporate housing. So her job pays for a house, and then the RV is currently parked in the driveway. So we still live in that when we're in between locations or
Like digital nomad, or you kind of bouncing
Yeah,
around,
so
traveling around,
I've
working
been-
in different
when
places.
I started my company, it's always been a fully remote company.
Yeah.
Back before the pandemic and all of that. And so when I met her, she was looking for someone who wanted to travel. I was looking for someone who wanted to travel. So it just worked out. And so now we travel together and just kind
I
of
love that.
spot for 3 months at a time.
I love that. That's something that I've always felt like I would love to do. My wife, not so much, but like the idea of an RV and just like kind of bouncing around to places that have good Wi-Fi, kind of seeing more of America. just,
Yeah.
Like travel the country and kind of setting up shop for a week or two, kind of wherever you want. It's like
Yeah.
you got good connection.
Before we started dating, it really was like that. It was like every couple of weeks I would move, and I really loved it because I could plan my route around WordCamps or meetups or
Yeah.
any other conferences I wanted to go to, visiting clients because our clients are all over the country. So now I'm a little more stationary, but I really get to dive into that one area a lot.
Nice.
So it's been interesting.
And so it
But-
sounds like you've been, oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say, it sounds like you've been to a lot of WordCamps and events. And stuff,
Yeah,
so-
it's funny. I was actually just talking to Raquel earlier, who's one of the organizers here. My last WordCamp was this one in 2021,
Oh, right, it was.
before the pandemic, and I was a speaker that
The
year.
2021, right? That was one of the last WordCamps right before.
That was
lockdown.
their last one too. Like
Yeah.
this is the first time they've had one since then.
Yeah.
And so ironically, it's my first one coming back too. So it's kind of nice to have the last one.
It's like
in
a
person
reunion,
here.
a homecoming.
Yeah, exactly. It felt like a reunion.
Yeah.
So
But again, I mean, that's part of it, right? Like that, the idea of like the last one was pre-pandemic. So even this local community has not had the WordCamp to kind of get together. I'm sure they're doing meetups and stuff, but not the actual WordCamp event
And
until now.
I consider Phoenix to be one of the stronger
Yes.
like local meetup communities too. Like they have a really awesome core group of people that are really passionate,
Yeah.
and dedicated, and really do a great job of organizing their team. And so, yeah, and I was on the organizing team in Houston for a while, and we struggled because right when we were about to have our first one was that March.
Oh.
So we had to cancel it and then push it back, and then they were going to do it virtual. Are we not going to do it? And so it's been a struggle.
Tough. Organizing an event like this is, I don't think it seems easy, but I would say it's definitely not. If you think it's anywhere easy, it's not. Like
No.
and I can't even, I've organized a lot of WordCamps. I've done 5 WordCamp Phillies, 2 WordCamp USs, and then I retired from organizing. And that was all pre-pandemic.
Rightfully
So,
so.
so the idea of organizing something now in a, post-COVID world is, I just can't imagine all the additional precautions and things you got to do. Because of course we want it to be safe. We want people to have fun, but we need it to be safe, right? So it just adds that extra layer of complexity that it has to be at the forefront of all the decisions being
For
made.
sure. Yeah.
And it's nice because of the outdoor air and like being a little bit more outdoor, but it does add some more work.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, there's been some silver lining, really nice things that have come from having to do all the virtual stuff, and now we're getting back to hybrids. And truth be told, I do a lot of online event consulting on the side away from my agency work, and now we're getting into this like world of hybrid events. Everything has to be hybrid because people have realized it's super easy and convenient to be able to do it remotely, live stream it,
Yeah.
whatever. But now there's a lot of people who want to be back in the same place and have that
Give
team
some
building
options,
and
yeah.
see each other, whatever. So now we have to do both.
Yeah,
So
and
it's-
you're right. That's not the worst thing because now it's like if you can't make it, at least you can kind of participate remotely,
Exactly.
or if you're just not comfortable going it, that's fine. You can do it remotely, and if you want to be there, you can be there.
Also, and organizers now have to consider that so it becomes more accessible for everyone
Yeah.
because it's got to at least be partially remote.
And I think now, like you know, at the beginning of the pandemic, it was like, you know, everything was going online and that was fine. But then there was this like fatigue that set in of like online conferences,
burnout, yeah.
meetings. You're doing it all day at work and you're doing it in the evening on the weekends. But I feel like we've kind of gotten over that a little bit. And now it's like, okay, now that there's that hybrid approach, it's starting to feel like it's okay to, like, it's not as, I don't know if it was, we all had burnout and now we're kind of past that,
I
but
think so, yeah.
it feels like it's acceptable.
Everybody went back to the real world,
Yeah.
got that fixed, and they're like, okay, now I don't want to get out of my pajamas. So
Right.
go back
Like,
to
I know
this
there's a period of time
online.
there where I
Yeah.
just was like, yes, there's a conference online. And I was just like, I just can't
Yeah.
watch it all weekend long.
Yeah,
When
No,
I'm
we all
sitting
got
on-
there at
yeah,
some
it's like,
point, yeah.
but now I'm feeling energized. I think it's part of it's coming back.
yes.
So knowing that's an option, but also just, you know, seeing more cramps on the schedule and that hybrid approach. So what type of things you're looking forward to here? Like any presentations that stand out, just kind of networking? Like,
Yeah,
what do you get out of these camps?
There's a woman I actually just had lunch with. Her name's Amber. She's doing one on launching digital products, which I think is going to be kind of a cool talk.
Yeah, that sounds
It's like kind of tangential to WordPress. She started building sites for people and realized that she kind of had a product in that of just like helping people launch digital products. So I think that'll be a cool talk. Cammie's talk earlier about time management was pretty awesome.
Yeah, we
She's
just talked to
great.
Cammie a second
Yeah,
ago,
she's
yeah.
awesome.
And that was her first presentation.
Which blows my mind. I couldn't like,
Good.
as long as I've known her in the WordPress space, I couldn't believe that was her first time.
I was kind of
really
surprised too,
shocked.
because I've known Cammie for a number of years, at least online.
Yeah,
And,
same. And I was like,
That's great.
really?
though. I love
Yeah,
hearing that
so-
when people find, you know, put themselves out there, because I know that's a big step and it's a lot, but
Sure.
it's great
Yeah.
to see
And
people
then
that have that knowledge that want to get up there and share it.
Yeah, there's a lot of really good Gutenberg content, and I'm really trying to up my Gutenberg game these days.
Gutenberg, what's that? Kidding.
So we're
Never heard of it.
yeah, just trying to learn one of the tips and tricks where I can. And I'm not a developer. I don't pretend to be, you know, I know just enough to be dangerous, but it really helps me to be able to navigate around if I'm trying to see something or make a small edit or whatever. But for the most part, I'm just developers doing all the stuff for me these days.
Now, I'm betting you're also a bit of a hallway track guy, right?
Oh,
Like just the
absolutely.
networking and mingling and, you know, talking to potential
Yeah.
partners, or, you know, how
I
you
think
can work together.
I've
with
been here
people.
most of the day. I think I've only been to one talk so far because I've either been over here.
I'm telling you, man, like the hallway track it's hard to describe the value that just talking to people brings to
Yeah.
your business, your company, whatever it is you're trying to do in the WordPress space.
Yeah.
Like the presentations are great. And what I always tell people is, you know, go there, support your friends, go to the presentation if you want to. But if you miss one, it's not the end of the world. They're all recorded. They'll be online later. What you're not going to be able to get later is this as easily, right? This
exactly.
direct. So don't feel guilty if you skip a few presentations
It's like
because
you
you're
said,
having some really great talks in the hallway.
Yeah.
Watch them later. You know,
Yeah, and I agree because, you know, for me, I love the social interaction. Obviously, something you just can't get from an online conference. The best that we try, it's just you can't replicate
Yeah.
that. But also, like you just get into these organic conversations, and an hour goes by, and you're like, "Oh wow, I missed
Yeah.
that talk." Whoops.
what happened?
Yeah, so like you know, I always go into each one with the best of intentions, and I make a whole schedule of
Yeah.
every talk I'm going to go to. But rarely do I hit them all.
Good to
but that's
plan,
normal.
but yeah, I just tell people don't worry about if your plan goes off the rails, because at the end of the day, you just do what you feel is right, where you feel like you're, you know, really participating, getting the value. The presentations will always be there and they're always great. And sit in those if you want. That's awesome. But don't feel guilty if you skip a couple, because you're having good conversation in the hallway. There's a real big value to that. So awesome.
I agree.
So what else is going on? What else should we chat about?
Um,
Fire away
weather
if
in
you got
Phoenix
anything,
is
Victor.
fantastic.
What's the weather like here, since we bring that up
So-
with everybody?
Oh
Yeah,
no, I'm gonna
today
get
it's
trashed
like
again.
The high when I got dressed this morning was like 67, I think, and just sunny. The thing is, like, 67 in Phoenix is so weird because 67 inside in Phoenix is cold.
Yeah.
But if you go 67, you go outside, it's hot.
I didn't know what to wear today. I was like, do I do shorts? Do I
Yeah.
not do shorts? Is long
It's-
sleeve
You
too
have
much?
to be a master of layers in Phoenix because
That's
it's
what-
just,
yeah.
yeah, it's just constant change.
Constant change.
Constant.
You see the struggle we go through, Victor, to
So
come to
hard.
these events, like
Yeah.
the hardship
I
that
got a
we
jacket, I got to put it on, I
we
got to
work
take it
through.
off.
Oh my
It's
gosh, the
constantly.
things we do for this community.
Shout out to my Canes. Both of my basketball teams are playing today in the Sweet 16.
Oh,
So I was
yeah.
actually just watching the ladies over there while I was waiting. the
I
men are playing this afternoon. So,
I had Purdue going all the way, so that worked out real well for me.
oh man,
They got beat in the first round.
yeah.
But cool, man. Well, thanks for stopping
No,
by.
I appreciate it,
See
man.
ya.
Always
Yeah.
pleasure.
Awesome.
Later,
Good to
Ed.
see you, Victor. Thanks,
Good to see you,
everyone.
man. Twitter's quiet, Brad. I got to tell you, it's super quiet here, man. There was like 2 tweets from WordCamp Phoenix. Man, people must have quit Twitter. I will say it's a little disappointing. People really stuck to their guns in the WordPress community.
Yeah, I don't know about the Twitter thing. Like, I do feel it is. You're right. It's less active, but it has been in just WordPress in general. So
Yeah, bummer. But this is
So who we
cool. This
got
is
here?
actually really cool. Yeah.
Hi, Victor.
What's up,
So,
man?
I miss you, man.
Who are you? Why
I
don't you
miss
give
you too.
everybody a little intro? What is this? What is this role that maybe is seemingly important at this event that you
Oh, I
are?
don't think it's important.
Or you were leading?
Yeah, I no. So I'm Matt Clancy. Everyone calls me Clancy. I'm the lead organizer of WordCamp Phoenix this year. And yeah, it's been a wild ride, but
It has been.
you
And
know.
this, as we've been talking with the other guests that were on about how this is the first WordCamp Phoenix since the pandemic. And the last one was like right around like right before lockdown, right?
It was
So
seriously like 2 weeks
Yeah.
before the lockdown happened.
it's just amazing to realize that was 3 years ago. But
Yeah.
it's the fact that it's back. It's got to be really exciting for the local community, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think so. It was really like when we started planning, there was definitely some like apprehension, right, to pick this back up.
Right.
And are we going to get people to show up? We had our meetups. Those are going on. We had 3 a month, and our attendance has been low since we started having in person again. And it was like, okay, are we going to experience the same thing at a WordCamp? How much effort are we going to put into this, maybe for little return? And to see the amount of people that have come out, it's just been amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, it is truly.
People are itching to get back out there in a safe, responsible way, but you can't replicate this. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like, and we've all realized that over the last few years. Like, yeah, everything virtual is great, and my company is virtual, like it's awesome, but there is definitely a value to the in-person stuff, and I'm glad that it's coming back. And it helps set the stage, because last year I think there were only 2 WordCamps in the U.S.
Yeah.
I think it was Montclair and WordCamp US.
Yep. Yeah.
So there haven't been very many since the lockdown.
Yeah.
So seeing, especially some of these WordCamps that have a reputation of being kind of the premier, kind of top tier. I don't want to put any pressure here, but like top tier WordCamp. It started to validate it, I think, for other camps. Like, hey, we could do this.
Right.
We could be safe, and we could do it in a way that people enjoy. And it could be a hybrid or whatever. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you're helping, I think, set the stage for all these other WordCamps to start coming back.
And that's what I'm hoping for. Like it's definitely been when I talk to Central and we discuss a lot of the logistics. There is there's a lot of still unknowns. Like
Right.
There's new contracts that are coming up from venues. The food is twice as expensive as it used to be. And and again, getting people to feel comfortable enough to come out. So I mean, it's definitely not the same environment it was
Yeah.
3 years ago.
I was just talking to the guy before you, and I helped organize a couple WordCamp Phillies and WordCamp
I was there.
US's. Yeah. We'll talk about that in a second. But like, I can't even imagine the kind of additional complexities of all those things you got to think about in like a post-COVID world. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, absolutely.
it's just a whole nother ball of wax that just didn't exist for obvious reasons. And even it was a massive amount of work then, and now it's just this extra layer on top of everything.
Yeah, absolutely. There has been some people who have been concerned because we said there might be people wearing masks or having mask stickers, or we've discussed many times, like, why do we have a touchless thermometer? Like, what do we do with it? We don't, like, if someone has a fever, you just ask them to leave, or
Right.
how do you handle those situations?
And when it's a volunteer capacity, that can get, if you haven't at least figured out some things up front, if you're on the spot and like, it could get awkward, and
Yeah.
it could put people in some kind of awkward positions as volunteers to say, excuse me, you gotta go.
Yep,
You know, like,
absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
so I actually have so Matt and I go pretty far back. And I have a picture I wanted to go here. Maybe I didn't have it ready. I thought I had it right here. I'll pull it up in a second. But so tell me about, what was your first WordCamp? That's the first time we met.
Yeah.
Was
So-
at a WordCamp? It
so-
was. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, so my first WordCamp was WordCamp London 2015, maybe.
I think yeah, 2015, 2014, right around there.
Yeah, and so someone at the office said, "Hey, who has a passport and wants to go to London?" And I was like, "I want to go to London, sure." Like, okay, you're gonna go to this WordCamp, and I was like,
Yeah.
"I've never been to a WordCamp," and I met Brad there, and we had a amazing night on the town. And
We did London, all right.
yeah, we did London, and that's when I met April at the same time.
Yeah,
and
my wife was there. Yeah,
yeah, and it was a great introduction to the community. It was like so welcoming.
and you
and-
stuck around.
yeah.
So So that's probably one of the more special WordCamps I've been to because of the memories we made that night. I mean, I think it was at dinner. It kind of spiraled pretty quickly, but we realized how close we were to Abbey Road. And you can kind of see, figure out where this is going, but here's a good picture. I don't know how well it's going to come across, but
It's coming
it's
out good.
basically
Now.
good enough, right? It's basically the four of us. We actually got an Uber driver. We're like, take us to Abbey Road. So the Uber drivers in the middle of the street snapping our pictures. All the three guys decided, because April's like, I'm not taking my shoes off, like John Lennon. So three guys are like, okay, the three of us will take our shoes off. We had attention to detail here. And then it was freezing. I remember the asphalt was so cold. We're in the middle of the street as cars are going by. The Uber driver is trying to take the picture.
Yeah.
It's just hilarious. It's just a great memory of WordCamps. I think we ended up in a red telephone booth that night at some
Yeah,
point.
I don't
We're
know
just
what
like,
that picture is. Do you know where that one
I'll have to
is?
find it. I don't know
Okay.
where that one's at either, but we're in with the famous red telephone booth, which are kind of hard to find now. They're not everywhere like they used to be, but like those are the type of things that you don't plan for and they just kind of organically happen and then you never forget them. And those are some special things about WordCamps, you know?
Absolutely. And that's why I became so involved in starting to organize them after that, because I was like, wow, these, like, you know, this is a really special moment. But we also found out, remember, there was someone posted our picture from the camera that's pointed at
Oh,
Abbey
that's right.
Road.
That's right.
And
Abbey Road has a live stream camera. And I think we tweeted, we're going to Abbey Road, and somebody got on there and watched us on the live stream and took some pictures of us out there like posing and I forgot about that.
yeah, I remember that. That's but the Uber driver was so excited. He's
It
like,
was cool.
he was like, this is the most fun I've ever had as an Uber driver.
We're like, keep the thing rolling. Just take our picture.
Yeah.
We'll be
Good
quick.
time. It was a good
That's a
time.
good time. So why don't you quickly just tell us maybe some of the highlights for this weekend? You know, we're about halfway through day one. We still have all day tomorrow, so still quite a bit to go.
Yeah.
Only about a quarter of the way in. Like anything that really stands out to you, any presentations, there's after.
Will there be
parties, or
laser
just-
tag?
Is there going to be laser tag? Is that a rumor?
There's no laser
No laser
tag.
tag.
So we are going to be having our after party at the same place we had our speaker sponsored dinner. And we shared that
That's
place.
a cool spot. I was there last night.
Yeah, it's Arizona Wilderness, and we have our after drinks for after a meetup there. And so when we were talking about like what did we want to share with everyone, it was wilderness because it's outside, you know, it's March in Phoenix, and it was like, let's share that. So I'm really excited to be able to share that with the rest of the community, not just the speakers and sponsors.
We said that's really like a taste of, or like a really good representation of your meetup community, because that's like your spot. That's like where you go.
It's our spot.
Cool.
I love that place, and it's just a great environment to be in. For talks tomorrow and for the rest of the camp, there's a couple of blocks talks that are coming up, and I'm really excited for those because I haven't been as involved with blocks as I used to be, but I'm like kind of listening to like what these guys are presenting. I'm like, okay, this sounds like it's kind of reinvigorating to kind of see what people have done with blocks, you know, in the past 3 years.
That's great. Yeah, I'm looking forward to stuff like that. I love seeing how people are using them in interesting ways and what they're doing, because it is getting a little more mature at this point. I know on the show, we had a show last week where we had Raquel and Carol on and talking about the event. And one of the things we talked about was it's really cool to see, and I know this is a symptom of just not having WordCamps, but it's cool to see some of the future tech stuff on it. Like I sat in Kathy's presentation on passkeys. There's a presentation on blockchain. I think there's an AI presentation, like some of these newer things, Web3 or whatever, you know, like it's neat to see that on the schedule and start hearing about how this, because we hear it, we see it, but like, how does this like involve WordPress, or what are the ties into what we're doing with WordPress? So I sat in Kathy's. I'm really interested to watch the other two. I think they might be tomorrow, but
I think they are,
just to kind of see that. And it seems like there was some calculation too, to make sure you had some of that newer topics.
Yeah, we really, I think a lot of camps pick beginner courses, right? And those are, or beginner talks, and those are easy, right? And there are beginners, but when we have a camp like Phoenix that is more tenured, you start to look at like, what are those talks that are going to get people interested? And it's that future tech that you don't really see those talks showing up at a lot of the smaller camps or many camps at all. You know, it's a lot of it's focused just on how do you build with WordPress, SEO, working with clients, things like that. So,
Yeah, I love it because it gets the ideas flowing. And even if it's not something you might use in your day-to-day or even at all with WordPress, it's just kind of cool to know what's out there and learn a little bit more about it. But it might actually have an impact.
it might, yeah.
And things like AI and Chat GPT, I think there's always interesting ways that those could impact you. And if you're a developer, maybe they could help you with development, but maybe it's other ways they help you, like responding to emails or coming up with a tweet to promote your product. And
Yeah.
you just don't have the time, but those little like assistant things, I think people can start using almost immediately.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, this responding to emails thing, I think, is such a
Please just do all my email
Right,
for me.
right,
And
absolutely, absolutely, right? Like, who wants to sit there and write an email all the time, right? So,
this is the tone of the email. Just write it for me, please. Awesome, man. Anything else? Any surprises? Anything that we can expect? Or are you keeping it tight-lipped here?
there's no big surprises coming up, I promise.
You gotta respect the jerseys.
Oh
too,
yeah,
so
so these are jerseys, because our
I was
theme
just
is
gonna say that. They
basketball,
look great.
so
I
it's,
love a good themed WordCamp. Yeah, it's
yeah,
a basketball theme, and they got all the organizers. I think the volunteers too, all wearing jerseys, right?
The volunteers have purple shirts, but all the speakers are received a jersey also, and it's supposed to be like a like a community jersey. Like, this is not like a NBA level jersey. It's like something you might find at like the Boys and Girls Club or something.
Yeah. No, I love themed board camps. I think it's great, and I love it when especially speakers and stuff kind of lean into it and
Oh yeah, absolutely.
make their presentations themed on theme with like basketball or whatever. So
Yeah, I saw a guy wearing a Suns shirt, and I was like, oh nice, that guy got into the theme.
and I don't know how you coordinate this, but the fact that you got the 76ers here to come play tomorrow night all the way in Phoenix, like that was masterful.
Yeah,
I don't know who you talk to make that happen.
Somehow made it happen.
Even though it overlaps the after party, so I'll be at the after party. But
Well, I mean, you could do both.
Could
You
do
know, if you
both.
really want to.
it will actually be a pretty good game, I think. So
Yeah, I think it will be.
cool. Anything else you want to cover while we got you? I know you got a lot going on.
I
So
just want to say I miss Victor. Victor was here last time.
I know.
Tell them
You know
everyone's
what?
making
I
me
tried
feel
to get
so
him out
bad. The
here.
FOMO.
I tried to get you out here, Victor. It's a little.
I'm
last
literally
minute, so I
looking at
understood that
plane
you
tickets right now.
All right.
I'm literally looking at plane tickets right now
Next
because I was
year,
like,
right?
all right,
couldn't.
this is
He'll
too
walk
much
in the
fun.
morning.
All right.
We'll get him here next year. But all right, thanks a lot, man. I know you're
Thank you,
busy.
Brad.
Yeah, best of luck. The event's been awesome so
Thank you
far.
very much,
so,
Brad.
yeah, thanks
And
so
I'll
much.
see you later, Victor.
Yes, sir.
Later. All right. I got to tell you, Twitter's quiet right now, but this is exciting. This is neat to see everyone coming out. We still have I'm on the WordCamp Phoenix, and again, no chat really going on, but take it away.
Yeah, let's go. Let's right into the next one. So, who are you? What do you do? And let's dig into it.
My name's Kurt Von Onen. I run my own agency called Mañana No Mas, and I also work with Lifter LMS. Do a lot of their customer satisfaction, customer support, live calls, podcasts, things like
Nice.
that.
Now, are you local? Are you in the Phoenix community? Are you from outside?
No, I commuted.
Outsider like me?
I commuted. I drove in from Corona, California last night
Okay.
and got here just in time today to
A lot of
volunteer.
people drove here. I've talked to people from California, San Diego, Las Vegas, even LA. It seems like and they're not necessarily short drives.
Well, I have another sickness, and that is mountain biking, and my mountain bike is in my truck.
Okay.
So I'm going to stay Sunday and do a little mountain
The
bike.
old win-win situation. I like
Win-win,
it. Yeah.
win-win.
Yeah. When I was younger and would come to WordCamps, I would always usually bring my wife and we do little mini vacations. Like we'd come to Phoenix, do the WordCamp, business expense type stuff, and then stay a couple extra days and see the sites, explore the cities,
Yeah,
things like that. So it's an easy way to help justify some little mini breaks throughout our
I'm a
year.
little bit of a food tourist. I like to check out what people eat in
We're in a
different
good spot
communities
for
and
that.
stuff. Yeah,
It's been
yeah,
great
lots
here.
of good food here.
Yeah. So what are you excited about? Like any presentation you've seen, anything coming up, like stand out that really has got you pumped up at the event?
Well, I decided to volunteer, so they put me at the registration booth
So
this
you're
morning,
working.
which is exactly where I need to be.
Okay.
So, folks that know me from Lifter, I get pretty excited. I have a high energy level, and I was just meeting and greeting. And when I found out we could do the check-ins on the phone,
Mhm.
I didn't have to stand at a counter and be stationary. I was walking around, greeting people, just having a good time, shaking hands, meeting folks. I did hear about some of the topics that were being spoken about, and I'm all in for watching the replays because
Yep.
there's a lot of good information.
We talked about that earlier too, about, you shouldn't feel guilty if you miss a presentation or if you're having a good conversation at over lunch, you don't want to, duck out to go. They're recorded. Catch them later.
Yeah,
Because this is
yeah.
the stuff that's hard to replicate when you're back home, right?
Yeah,
Is the
absolutely.
conversation. So
My first WordCamp was WordCamp US in San Diego.
yeah,
The Lifter guys brought me to that. They were so cool. They introduced me to everybody. And then I came to this one and instantly I see the dudes from rocket.net, right? And it's like rocket.net.
yeah.
And then just go around the room and it's like people from Bluehost and everywhere. I
Yeah.
recognize everyone. It's such a good time.
Yeah, US was fun. That was, it's great to see that back. I mean, really, and that's another reason why I'm excited because Phoenix is one of those top tier WordCamps, so it's really helping set the stage for other camps to say, okay, we can do this. Other camps are doing it. Look at what they're doing. There's ways to do this
Yeah.
safely
Yeah.
and respectfully. so we can start bringing all the WordCamps back that everybody know and love.
Well, the venue's beautiful.
Yeah,
I,
really
I
nice
was
venue.
scared driving in because I went through a tent city on the way getting here.
Yeah.
I came off the highway.
That's the like contributor day, I think.
And I was like, contributor day. And I was like, uh-oh, tent city. And then I got here and I was like, what a beautiful venue. And it's kind of, it's just nice, right? It's like intimate. It's
Yeah.
kind of little small spaces here and there. And just seems really well put
Yeah.
together.
And that's the thing I always forget when I come to like warmer climate areas is how many outdoor spaces they have just naturally. Like
Yeah.
I don't know why I forget that. Of course they do, right? But like you go to Phoenix, you go to like SoCal or like Florida, Miami, and it's like these open malls, these open. I love it because you get the fresh air, you got the sun coming in. There's ways to kind of stay outside if you want to, if you're not comfortable inside as much. So I mean, the nice breeze coming in. We'll stop talking about the weather, Victor. Everybody that comes over here talks about how beautiful it is. He's just shaking his head in the cold, wet Philly.
Well, I was raised in Philadelphia, so I kind of know
Oh,
how
really?
the weather is out
Oh,
there.
there we
I
go,
went to,
another
Bishop
Philadelphian.
McDevitt High
Another
School,
Philly guy. All right.
and
So
they closed that down last year. I guess it was, or 2 years ago. Yeah. I was raised in Willow Grove.
Willow Grove, I live right next to there.
Where do you live?
Yeah, Drescher.
Oh, nice.
Like Willow Grove, I drive up on the mall every day, almost
Yeah.
every day.
You remember Fast Buy Faraci's, the Ducati store?
I'm not from there.
Oh,
So,
that's how I fell in love with.
I've been in the
motorcycles.
air for about 10 years or so. So
Nice,
Uh,
nice.
uh,
All right. I've
small world. Look at that. He like grew up like 5 minutes from where I live.
Yep.
And
And
we
were
just
talking
found that
about
out
food.
live.
Yeah. Cheesesteaks, pizza squares. Oh my goodness.
WordCamp Philly's got to come back. So we just had Rachel on who helps organize WordCamp or the Philly meetup. She's anxious to bring it back. So there's a possibility there might be something later in the year. We'll see. I'm not calling anything, but we'll see what happens. I know some of these local meetups are getting really antsy to come back and get the community's getting kind of re-energized, and we're excited. And again, events like this are kind of with the FOMO and stuff. People are like, we got to do that. We got to get that back in our city.
Well, I started working with WordPress in like 2004, and I was alone, right? And then I did the WordCamp thing. And then since WordCamp, I got involved in the WordPress meetups. This is my second WordCamp. And it's like, I didn't even know this community existed. And I really feel like I missed out. Like, where would my agency be if I would have gotten involved in 2008, 2009, right?
Those are early days. Too.
Yeah. So it's like, this is like super cool. So
Mhm.
people are watching this stuff and they're not involved. They're not showing up. They're not coming. They're missing out. This is a really cool thing
Yeah.
to connect and get with folks.
Yeah, and it's a little bit of a reset too with the last couple of years. So it's like I feel like everyone's kind of coming back in this fresh face with fresh ideas, and like we're just excited to see each other and talk. So it's a little bit of like a second coming in some way. Like I don't know, it's hard to describe until you're like here with people, but it's exciting because we've been missing this for so many years. This interaction with other WordPress geeks like us.
The weirdest thing happened. I was doing registration and a guy came up and he says, "Oh, hey Kurt, great to meet you in person, blah blah." And I'm like, "What's happening here?" Right? Like, this is awkward. And he goes, "I've been following you on Twitter for years."
Yeah.
And it's
That's
like,
awesome.
it's like crazy flattering, right? But
Yeah.
then it's just that realization that, yeah, we're face to face, we're in person,
Yeah.
we're shaking hands, and now you can actually build relationships, and
Yeah,
those last, like, from location to location,
they
location.
do. You make most of us have met online first. I feel like
Yeah.
then in person, and then we meet in person just solidifies that connection. And then when you see them online, it's like, oh yeah, I remember San Diego or Phoenix. We hung out. We had a good time, and then you just start building those relationships. I've been coming to WordCamps for a long time, and I've met all sorts of agency owners, and now I have monthly chats, one-on-ones. Because it's a safe space for me to share challenges with someone else that is very familiar with those challenges, and we help each other. Like,
Yeah.
oh, I have this situation. Have you ever come up against that? What would you do? And like, those are invaluable conversations to have with people kind of, doing the same type of work we're doing, especially at like an owner level.
And that's, you touched on that synergy that happens, because it's, people aren't stealing your piece of the pie when you're networking with people.
Right.
You're just figuring
Help
out
each
how to
other.
make more pie.
Yeah.
So it's just
I
like
like
this
that.
really cool thing.
I
dig
like
it.
that. And I like pie. So that's a win-win. But you're right. There is that something about the WordPress community. This has always been here where it's like, yeah, there's competition, right? You build WordPress sites. I build WordPress sites.
Yeah, but you
we're-
build pretty ones. I build functional ones. That would be like our strategy change.
I personally build very functional ones because I can't design anything, but my team makes amazing stuff. But so technically, if you strip everything away, we are competitors, right? But at the end of the day, you're right. There's enough pie for everybody, so it's all about how can we help each other. Like I have a big, like a referral network of just people I trust, and if we can't do the work for whatever reason, I want to hand them over to someone that I trust that can, even if they're a competitor. It doesn't matter to me. It's more about doing the right thing, and I think
Yeah.
most of us
Yeah.
have that mindset here.
I tell people all the time, I own up to it. Like, I am not an artist. Like, I tell them right up front, if you have a style guide, and you know your colors, and you have a logo and pictures, I can build you an awesome, functional, brilliant website.
Yeah.
Like, I know what looks good. Like, when it's done, I go, oh, that looks good. But I don't have the brain to invent stuff like that. Whereas, like, the reason I met you today was, doing the stuff with Lifter LMS. You
Yes.
guys worked on that design.
Yeah.
And the new design for Lifter looks great. And hey, thanks for the work, right?
Yeah.
But you guys have that vision, right? And that's cool to work with people like that.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. It's it's fun working with Lifter. So I mean, Lifter's had some big news recently. I mean,
Lots of big news. Yeah.
Partnering up with Paid Membership Pro, Jason and Kim over there, good friends of mine. They don't live, they live pretty close to me actually, so we get together on occasion. But that's huge. Lifter and Paid Membership Pro are really partnering up and kind of conquering together. I'm excited about that because I like everybody involved a lot. Everybody involved is really good people, so I only expect great things to come from this new relationship.
Yeah, the dynamics changed a little bit for me personally. Like, I love Thomas. Like, Thomas is part of the reason I'm on the team doing what I'm doing
Thomas is
today.
great.
But Kim and Jason brought a certain energy and a certain dynamic to it, and it just seems like things have come up a little bit. And we've added a couple more developers to the team. So all these things that were kind of like on the wish list, on the feature request form, are starting to get addressed, and there's kind of a play plan to things. And it's for me to work directly with customers and onboard people and problem solve with people. It's like the tools are coming, and it's just really cool. And then the design looks great. So it's like all at once, everything's happening.
Yeah, I mean, I love it. Like, people, getting together, and we've all been doing this. You've been doing it longer than me, it sounds like, but we've been doing this for a while. So it's like, I get it. People are moving, and like things are, there's acquisitions or sales, people are jumping. I don't want to do clients, I want to do products, or vice versa. Because we've all been doing this a while, but it's great to see, like, when good companies get together, they're working together, they're ownership across the board, but it re-energizes. So, like, it lights a new spark, because now, like you said, there's fresh ideas, there's more resources, because now, rather than going apart, we're together, right? So it's just a great way to kind of re-energize, recharge, and then go, take over the world.
And the simplest of things, like you guys streaming live from here is cool. We just switched to StreamYard, and it's totally changed our like live presentation game a little bit. We're 9 channels at the same time, and we're just always experimenting, and it's just cool to be able to have that space to play. Corporate America doesn't always offer you that space.
No, they don't want that space.
You change to that cubicle and live and die, right?
Yeah, I love that. Experimenting, get stuff out there, try different things. I know Jason and Kim are really active with like content and like webinars, and really just teaching people how to not only use their products, but how to grow their their business.
Yep.
With their products, of course, but how to grow their business and ways to think about pricing, and like leveling up on subscriptions and what works and what doesn't. They've been doing this for a long time, so they have a ton of knowledge from not only what they've done, but all their clients. So sharing that out with the world is amazing. It really helps, I'm sure, onboard people, but also give them the knowledge to not just set it and forget it, but to grow their business and like be as successful as they can.
Helping the other providers in the space is like such a cool thing, right? They just gave me permission to do like an agency thing at Lifter. So we're reaching out to agencies and saying, hey, let us help you find a way to find success in this vertical, right? You might be designing a ton of like business card type WordPress websites, right? For little small businesses. But all of those businesses since COVID have a reason to have, how do you onboard your new employees? How do you tell salespeople how to sell your product? So now you've got this new vertical to sell into. So we're helping agencies find that path.
I love that. Yeah, that's
kind of cool.
That is kind of
Is
cool.
Lifter LMS doing a talk? Does Lifter
That's it.
LMS have
I
any
don't have
talks
anything else
going
to
on?
talk about.
Are there any Lifter LMS talks at the event?
No. For the record, I applied and I was turned down.
Well, it happens. It
I have,
happens.
2 talks.
Yeah,
One
maybe
is-
WordCamp US or something, or
WordCamp Philly.
somewhere else.
Yeah.
Camp Philly might be coming up. We'll see.
Well, give me an excuse to visit the old neighborhood.
Yeah, come on down.
Check it out. Yeah. The talk that I usually give is, using an LMS as a marketing tool, right? And so that's kind of a fun one. I thought it'd be good to plug in here, but I just didn't make it to the list.
Yeah, well, trust me, I've been the guy that's had to do the rejection emails at WordCamp US. That was like 500 rejections, and most of them are high quality. So it's never really it's more about just the sheer volume and making sure there's a good spread of topics. So
Yeah.
I'm sure that's what the case was. But we'll look forward to that at a future event. Anything else you want to throw out there while we got you? Anything else you're excited about, or?
No, I encourage people if they want to connect with me, I'm on LinkedIn almost every day. So Kurt Von Onen on LinkedIn. I'm the only Kurt Von Onen on LinkedIn, so you don't have to worry about making sure you got the right one.
There's a couple Brad Williams out there.
Yeah, a couple of Brad Williams. And then Mañana No Mas is me. Anything that's on that says Mañana No Mas on the internet's mine. I'm really well branded.
Nice.
And that just means tomorrow no more because I don't miss deadlines or go over budget.
I like that.
So-
I bet your clients do too.
Yeah, so those are my 2 plugs. Anything I can plug for you while I'm here?
Check out Web Dev. No, it's
Got Web Dev Studios.
cool. Thanks for coming on, man.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, it's good.
Have a
to
good
chat.
one.
I'll
Good to see you,
back
man.
At the Grove.
All right, we're like
I did
10
make it
minutes. Any
back
more
to having
guests?
cheesesteak.
Yes. Who we got? We got one more coming in. Last guest. Oh boy. They saved you for last, huh? Here we are.
What's up?
We got the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. John Hawkins over here. You may not recognize him because he shed like
45.
a lot of weight.
Yeah.
You're looking good, John.
Thanks, man.
You've been crazy on the Peloton.
Yeah, Peloton's great. That's great. I jump on, I put on a audiobook and basically shut off my brain.
Just go.
And it's no work, no kids, no family, no life, just
No, I
ride.
try to be really productive when I work out and listen to things that would grow me as a person
Yeah.
and grow the business. And I just need to have heavy, loud beats and
yeah.
rhythm in my head. It cannot be where I'm trying to
Yeah,
process information because
For
it will
sure.
just will not happen.
absolutely.
I'll just have to keep rewinding it. But I know everyone's different. But I'm always
Yeah,
like, man,
I can't do that.
I would
either.
love to listen to things that actually grow me as a person, but I can't when I'm working out.
So the audiobooks I listen to are basically like all like fun, like they're fiction. I'm just listening to stuff for a good time, just to
Awesome.
pay attention. And yeah.
Well, why don't you tell everyone who you are, since we all know you, but they may not. Why don't you tell everyone who you are, kind of what you do in the WordPress space?
Yeah. So John Hawkins, you find me online at Vegas Geek on Twitter and pretty much any social media, or vegasgeek.com. I started using WordPress literally 3 months after it came out. Kind of got really deep into like building sites for people like early on. That turned into building custom plugins, and then I worked for agencies. I owned my own agency for a while. I worked at one called Web Dev Studios for a while.
Maybe heard of them.
Yeah. And now I actually work for a company based out of New Orleans where it's an online platform for clinicians who need to earn CE credits. So we do live events and we do on-demand events and in-person hybrid events. And so it's called TPN.health. And I love it. It's a lot of fun. I do that. And then that's my day job. And then I still do, custom WordPress stuff on the side, building
Scratch
sites.
that itch.
Got to do it. You know what's funny is, and I told them going in, I said, hey, look, I have a side business. I build stuff and it's my hobby. I love doing it, but it's a really good, I think it helps both sides because the stuff that I'm learning, I then go bring to work.
Right.
You learn something, you're like, oh, hey, cool. I found this new way of doing this thing, which there's no way, like if I just shut off my brain at the end of the day and stop doing WordPress stuff, I wouldn't have necessarily learned that stuff during the day.
So yeah, the side gig, the hobby is also an area for growth.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. For sure.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So I heard you're bringing back WordCamp Vegas. Is that the rumor I heard that you're gonna have one of those later this year, or is that just?
So the way that
Awesome.
I've said it, I mean, way to throw some, like, here's the bus and here's me right there.
You don't have to answer that if you don't want to.
How about them Dodgers? No, we want to. We would love to bring back WordCamp Vegas, but I don't have the interest or energy to kind of be the lead organizer. So talked to a couple of different people who've said they may be interested in kind of taking up the leadership role. I'm happy to be involved, happy to speak, happy to help. I could, especially like even in a mentorship role. I mean, I've done it so many times. I'd be happy to do that. I know it's just not in my heart to kind of like champion the thing.
It's a
I
lot of
just
work.
can't,
I mean,
yeah.
like, I've done some WordCamp Phillies and WordCamp US, and it's
Yeah.
a lot of work. And leading up to the event, like the month before,
Oh,
it's
gosh.
a full-time job.
Yeah, you basically have
If
to
you're
like,
the
set
lead,
everything up.
especially, like
Yeah.
it is your work. You do your day job,
Yeah.
you do that all night, on the weekends.
And I already told you I have 2 jobs. So I mean, I don't have room for a third.
Yeah.
So
But I think it's also important too that the baton is passed, right?
yeah.
And
Oh yeah.
I know WordCamp Central has kind of made a big effort in that the past.
Yeah. Like 2
Years.
years. You're allowed to do it 2 years. in
You're allowed to do
row,
a
and
couple
you
years
gotta-
because you don't
yeah.
want the same person be the lead organizer for a decade, right? And I understand that. I think it's a really good thing. You get them some fresh, fresh faces, fresh
Yeah.
ideas. The veterans are there to support.
Yep.
And help out and mentor.
Absolutely.
Like I love the idea of mentorships, especially with the local communities and
Yeah.
organizers. but pass the baton. Be like,
Do
and
it.
that's why after WordCamp US, that'd been my 7th. I was like, I'm retiring.
We're
I'll
done.
help if you want. If you
Yeah.
if you have questions, if I can help mentor,
Yeah.
but it's time for the next
The next
generation,
Next
I guess, if you will,
generation,
to take over. And you know what? They have taken over, and they've done an amazing job.
Yep.
And that's exactly what I was hoping would happen. They're
Yeah.
happen. So
I also really like that they when you talk about WordCamp US, I love that it's no longer just San Francisco, or you know what I mean? Like it's kind of started going on tour almost.
yeah,
And-
now we're back on the East Coast. It's going to be in Maryland.
oh, is that right?
Maryland
Oh,
this
cool.
year. Yeah.
All right. All right.
Which it's on the is it? Yeah, it's no, is it? Yeah, it's Maryland, but it's right across the river from Virginia, right
Okay.
on the Potomac there.
Okay.
Which I'm
Nice.
excited for because I could drive to it.
That's awesome.
And that's a game changer when you go to a big WordCamp. You can
Yeah.
drive, you can
Oh,
bring
yeah.
stuff, and
We're gonna carpool.
Yeah, for sure. Which-
Carpool. Victor will probably be like hitching a ride.
that's the thing. Like, I go to being based in Vegas, like this. I've actually spoke at this conference here in Phoenix more than any other location, like including Vegas. They're always so generous. They always say yes. When I bring like a topic to them, and then I love it. I just love it here. They do such a great job. Their organizing team
Yeah,
is
this one
as-
stands out as
yeah,
one of those
they're
kind of
just-
top tier. We were
even-
talking about that earlier.
go back to like being at the Santan, like just they always had stuff.
They go extra. They
Yeah.
go that extra mile and
Yeah.
the attention to detail that you remember.
Yeah, exactly.
That makes a great camp, an amazing camp. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? So that's definitely something that stands out for
Yeah.
Phoenix to me.
And I do love it because I can drive to it. So again, I hop in the car, I put
Yeah.
on an audiobook, I shut off my brain, and I just enjoy it. So
So what's great?
love
The
it.
first person we interviewed was Cammie. She did her first presentation ever
That's so
at
great.
WordCamp today.
Yeah.
And now we're kind of finishing with John Hawkins, who has probably presented at more WordCamps than maybe anybody. You're definitely
Tell
up
John
there.
when I Googled him, I didn't even, I was
think
like,
there's people
wait,
who have
I know
done-
that guy.
I mean, I can think of some people like a Chris Lemma, like,
Yeah.
obviously like that guy's
He-
seen
he-
them all, but
Victor said he Googled you and he popped up with ISP stuff.
Yeah.
He's like, I know that guy.
yeah, I because I don't have a definitive number, I kind of set mine at I set the bar when somebody asks, I'll tell them I've done 60. Like speaking.
60 WordCamps that he's spoken
Yeah.
at. That's probably double or triple than most people have attended.
That's
yeah.
legendary
But
status.
so
Yeah, that's
back in the
legendary.
day when I was starting my agency, it was kind of early on, and that was our entire marketing budget
Yeah.
was speaking at, sponsoring, just attending
Yeah.
WordCamps in general.
Same
Like
for
between the
WordCamp,
three of
yeah.
us, like we would just go to these things, and like I always told people, like if you teach somebody something, they love you forever.
Hmm.
So if you can go and get on stage and like I gave a fairly technical talk today, and I don't expect to teach somebody something in 45 minutes. Like
Right.
that, you're not going to
It's
teach
that
somebody a
primer,
topic.
right? To start
Right,
those
you-
nuggets of information.
Exactly. I want you to get enough stuff that you go, I'm going to go look that
Yeah,
up when
I
I
like
get
that.
home.
Let me
I'm
dig
going
in.
to check that out.
Yeah.
And if you do that, like people go, oh, that was that John guy. And then if they need help, that turns into the possibility of, oh, hey, well, you know what? I do want to do this myself, but I don't have time because you guys do this for me. And so back in the day, like especially early on, like I was doing more than a dozen WordCamps a year for,
You're like on tour.
yeah, it was seriously. And
had a
that's
bus
what
and
I thought.
everything.
Yeah, I should have. Oh, that would have been
But
great.
it's a great point because even when web dev first started, nobody knew who I was. Nobody knew who we were.
Right.
Like, we were all just starting out. Nobody knew anybody, but we didn't have budgets. We didn't have anything. We're very organic, grew just with projects coming in. So that's how we got our name out
Yeah.
there, is just start going to events, meeting people,
be
starting to
there.
get comfortable on stage and
Yeah.
speaking. And I'm not saying go speak at an event just to promote your stuff. But the point is you're sharing information
Right,
and knowledge.
exactly.
And
Exactly.
inherently that is promoting you, right?
100%.
So
You're promoting yourself as being somebody who knows what they're talking about, so that somebody knows that if I'm going to need to pick a company to work with, I already know that person over there at that
Yeah.
company knows what he's talking
Yeah.
about. That's it. That's all. That's the entirety of my promotion. Not, hey,
Yeah.
come buy my stuff.
and you
never
spoke
gonna
at
do
an
that.
event as a volunteer.
Yeah.
So it wasn't a paid gig.
Oh yeah,
So you're volunteering your time
I
for the
paid my
knowledge,
flights,
which
I
says
paid for
something,
this,
right?
yeah.
It means there's, if there's a passion with the community and with WordPress and you want to give back in the way of speaking and sharing knowledge.
yeah.
And that tells something to the people that want to work with you too.
100%.
Yeah. so
100%. Yeah. It's good
Awesome.
stuff.
Well, what advice? We'll leave it on this. What's the tip, Mr. 60+ speaking engagements? What's a piece of advice for
somebody who wants to speak.
Wants to speak, interested in getting in, or maybe even just interested in WordCamps in general and having.
You know what? Like, if you want to speak, like, if you want to teach on something, you have to learn it deeply, which is like, you have to like really dig in, because when you get on stage, you really want it to be like second nature. It's just, it's basically like you and me at a bar.
Right.
Like, and I'm
You
just
could
telling you,
riff on it for an hour. Yeah.
like, I could just talk to you about it. And so more than anything, that's the thing. Like, when I put together a presentation, I don't go and study it like 1,000 times. I don't do that. I want it to be very organic.
Yeah.
So for me, I make a bit of an outline. I have slides that I know that I want to cover, but what exactly I'm going to say on the day of, I don't really know. And I don't want to. I don't want it to be
You
very
don't just want to read a script.
structured.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I just want to kind of get up there and riff. And I think that it's a very fluid way of being able to get up there and see, even if you are up there and you are scared out of your mind, you can kind of hide a lot of that just by being comfortable with the content that you're giving. So
And it's a safe space, you know, like, and if you're interested in that, a good piece of advice I have is start small. Start at your local meetup. You know, go speak at a local meetup, you know, and meetups vary in size, but some of them may only be 5 or 10 people. Great. That's a great way to get your feet wet
absolutely.
in a very, not just a safe community, but your local community, like that people that want to help you. And
I was going to say, they want to see you succeed,
Yeah.
right? I mean,
so they're going to help you. And they're
Yeah.
going to give you feedback. And then when you're feeling ready, and go up to the WordCamp, you know,
Yeah.
start pushing yourself to speak at a WordCamp.
even at these, I mean, I feel like, you know, there was, let's say there was 75 people in that room. Like, nobody's up there like rooting for you to fail, right? I mean, they're there because they're genuinely interested in the thing, or I've got, you know, some of them are just friends who are coming to watch you, but they want you to succeed.
Yeah.
So it's always nice. By the way, if you're on stage and you are looking out and you see somebody nodding along with what you're saying, focus on that person. That's your dude right there. He's nodding. Yes, I'm speaking to him.
I thought you were going to say nodding off. And I was like, that is not your dude.
Oh, I've had that happen.
Oh, no.
Do not give technical speeches right after lunch.
Right after lunch.
Oh, I had somebody full on
Just
at WordCamp LA.
Like snort
fully,
themselves awake.
basically.
Oh,
Yeah.
no.
Oh man, it was awful.
It's all fun.
Very-
Though. I mean, you know,
Oh yeah.
the thing is, we don't take ourselves too seriously in this community. So that type of stuff, while it might be embarrassing in the moment, it's fun.
Oh yeah, for
You
sure.
know?
Like
I like
they
to be a
become,
little quirky and rough around the edges.
they become stories that we talk about and we
That
laugh
guy fell
about.
asleep when you were talking. Yeah, that was great.
So good. So good.
Cool. All right. Well, thanks, John. Man.
Yeah, man.
It's great to see you again,
Yeah,
as always.
absolutely.
So glad you're doing well.
Yeah, good to see you.
Yeah, you too, man. How we do, Victor? Damn,
That was good.
fast.
We only had one I gotta say, this was a great first live stream on the ground for WP Friday. I'm
Yeah.
actually kind of glad we left Twitter, because this is a visual medium, and this is great. We only had one. There was like a 2-second drop. Your video blacked out. You guys, it was when I think someone else was talking, but I was like, it was going so well. And yeah, I have serious FOMO. So this was great.
Not bad
This
for
is so
conference
cool.
Wi-Fi. So yeah, maybe we'll do a few more of these as some events come up. We got WordCamp US at kind of later in the year in the fall.
And I'm
maybe
going to
a
WordCamp
Philly
Europe.
shows up.
I'm going to set up the desk.
Ooh.
I'm going to WordCamp Europe.
But we got to flip this around, man.
Yeah, I'll be
That-
on the scene. Then you can
Man,
be
I would love to
FOMO.
go to Athens. That's on my
I'll be
birthday
eating-
too.
I'll get some Greek food. I'll make sure I'm eating some branzini, and I'll be like, "Oh, this branzini is so
Oh
good."
my god, you're gonna get me bad on the next time around. All right, man. Well, let's wrap it up. I got some more stuff to attend to. I gotta get back in the hallway track and talk to people.
All right.
But this has been fun. So thanks for joining at the WordPress Friday Hangout live at WordCamp Phoenix.
All right, later, y'all. Thank you so much. Bye.
Bye.